Hey Achievers, ready to unlock your prime? We're diving deep into U 2.0, Health, Longevity, and Peak Performance by Dr. Abhay Gupta. This book, it's like your data-driven guide to thriving, not just surviving, in your 40s, 50s, and beyond. We're probably about rewriting those old rules of aging. Forget that idea of midlife being all downhill. Look at LeBron James still dominating in his late 30s. Tim Cook leading Apple to huge success after 50. And Ariana Huffington launching Thrive Global in her 60s. They show us age is just a number, right? Especially when you've got the right strategies. And that's what Dr. Gupta is breaking down for us here, step by step. The first thing that really hit me is this idea of midlife being a turning point, not a decline. It's like hitting reset and reprogramming your body for the long haul. The book starts with this powerful self-assessment. Think about your health journey so far. How's your lifestyle, your career even impacted your well-being? What's your energy like these days? Dealing with any chronic pain, any family history we should keep in mind. And you know that whole metabolism slowing down thing we hear about in midlife? Let's debunk that myth right now. Research from the NIH shows our metabolism actually stays pretty steady from our 20s to our 60s. So it's not this inevitable slowdown, right? It's often muscle loss, hormonal shifts, and sometimes our lifestyle choices catching up to us. But here's the empowering part. We have the power to take action. Dr. Gupta breaks down the science of how strength training can boost your metabolism. He talks about getting enough protein, managing that stress that can really mess with our bodies, and understanding our genetic risks. Even how ethnicity can play a role in certain health things, predispositions. He even walks us through this fascinating case study. James, this corporate executive who was so sure his metabolism had tanked, gained weight even though he felt his diet hadn't changed much. Turns out he had lost a lot of muscle mass over the years, directly impacted his metabolic rate. But get this, by adding strength training 3 times a week, upping his protein intake, and getting regular blood work to check inflammation, he rebuilt muscle, dropped those extra pounds, and felt like himself again. It's a good reminder, we're not just at the mercy of these midlife shifts. We can choose to take control and optimize our health. And speaking of strength, let's talk about muscle. Not just for looks, but as our longevity asset. Studies show people with more muscle mass have lower mortality rates. Yeah, you heard that right. Muscle is a key indicator of how well we'll age. But how do we build and preserve it, especially as we get older? Dr. Gupta gives us a clear roadmap. He emphasizes prioritizing what he calls compound movements. Squats, deadlifts, push-ups, lunges, These exercises work multiple muscle groups at once, more results in less time. Then there's this concept of progressive overload, basically gradually increasing the weight or resistance you're using, like challenging your muscles to adapt and get stronger over time. Of course, we can't forget protein. Dr. Gupta recommends aiming for 1.2 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every day. Helps those muscles repair and rebuild after workouts. Just as important as pushing ourselves is giving our bodies time to recover, though. Overtraining can actually break down muscles, so prioritize sleep, those rest days, and listen to your body. He also dives into understanding our genetics. Like, if you've got a family history of osteoporosis, you'll want to pay extra attention to resistance training and calcium intake. Keep those bones strong. To bring this to life, he shares the story of Maria, a 50-year-old runner who was sidelined by knee pain. She felt like she was losing strength, impacting her running. So she shifted gears, focused on strength training and mobility work, and the results were amazing. Not only did she eliminate the knee pain, but she regained strength, felt more energized overall, and got back to running feeling better than ever. So we've covered strength training and how our metabolism actually works in midlife. Now let's dive into the fuel that keeps us going. Nutrition. And this is where things get really personalized. As we hit midlife, our nutritional needs, they change. Metabolic adaptation, muscle preservation, inflammation, hormones fluctuating, even digestion changes, it all comes into play. So it's not about eating the same way we did in our 20s and expecting the same results. We need a more tailored approach. That's where Dr. Gupta brings in this fascinating concept of personalized nutrition. He breaks down how our genes, body type, even ancestry can affect how we process nutrients. For instance, family history of diabetes. You'll want to focus on a nutrition plan that helps stabilize blood sugar. Someone prone to heart disease might prioritize those heart-healthy fats. He even talks about how different populations evolve to thrive on certain diets, like how lactose tolerance is more common in Northern Europeans versus the higher carb adaptation we see in some Asian populations. It really highlights how important it is to understand our own needs and tailor our diets accordingly. But how do we actually master nutrition in midlife? Well, Dr. Gupta gives us a clear roadmap, starting with understanding our unique health profile, which we talked about earlier. Then he dives into this concept of macronutrient mastery, finding the right balance of protein, carbs, and fats. It's about optimizing energy, supporting muscle growth, even fueling brain health. He starts with protein, highlighting how much we actually need as we age to maintain muscle mass. Suggests aiming for 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, spread evenly throughout the day. Then he tackles carbs, emphasizing choosing the right ones. Instead of those refined sugars, which can spike blood sugar and increase inflammation, he recommends prioritizing whole carbs, like sweet potatoes, quinoa, legumes, whole fruits. And of course, we can't forget those healthy fats essential for hormone production and brain health. Dr. Gupta suggests incorporating omega-3 rich foods like salmon, walnuts, flax seeds, those are your anti-inflammatory powerhouses, and opt for monounsaturated fats found in olive oil, avocado, nuts to support heart health. But he also cautions against processed fats, like those in industrial seed oils, which can actually contribute to inflammation. To really drive this home, he shares some compelling case studies. For example, we meet John, a 55-year-old engineer struggling with muscle loss. By simply increasing his protein intake and adding resistance training, he reversed his strength decline, even boosted his metabolism. Then there's Lisa, 48 years old, hitting those dreaded mid-afternoon energy crashes. Switching to slow digesting carbs and upping her fiber intake stabilized her energy levels throughout the day. And finally, Mark, a 52-year-old executive wanting sharper mental clarity, found success by shifting to a higher-fat, moderate-carb diet. It just goes to show how powerful dietary changes can be. But Dr. Gupta doesn't stop there. He introduces us to meal timing and fasting, including intermittent fasting, as a way to boost autophagy, enhance insulin sensitivity, and reduce inflammation. And then there's time-restricted eating, aligning your meals with your circadian rhythms, those natural rhythms our bodies follow, to improve digestion and hormonal regulation. He even includes this handy table outlining the best meal timing approaches for different goals: fat loss, muscle gain, cognitive enhancement, hormonal balance. And to make it even more tangible, he shares the story of Susan, a 50-year-old entrepreneur who experimented with fasting windows and carb cycling. Incredible results: increased energy, improved mental clarity, and felt more in control of her metabolism. Now, I know this might seem like a lot, especially if you're new to all this personalized nutrition stuff, but Dr. Gupta emphasizes it's not about finding the perfect diet or following rigid rules. It's about creating a sustainable nutritional blueprint that works for you, your body, your lifestyle. He encourages us to track our progress, experiment, and make adjustments as needed. Our bodies are always changing, so our diets should too. And most importantly, prioritize nutrient density over calorie counting. It's not about restriction. It's about fueling your body with what it needs to thrive. Here is his key takeaways for building a long-term nutritional plan. First, track your progress and adjust as needed. What works for one person might not work for another. Second, prioritize nutrient density over calorie counting. Focus on the quality of the food. And third, customize your choices based on your unique genetic and lifestyle factors. Embrace that bio-individuality. And finally, consistency is key. Build sustainable habits you can stick with, not chasing quick fixes or falling into restrictive diet traps. By mastering macronutrient balance, meal timing, and genetic-based nutrition, you can optimize your energy levels, prevent disease, and set yourself up for a long and vibrant life. Ready to learn how to design a fitness blueprint that will help you thrive in midlife and beyond? Stick with me.
We're just getting started. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about designing a fitness blueprint specifically for thriving after 40, time to get moving. Dr. Gupta dedicates a whole chapter to this, reminding us that as we hit midlife, we might start noticing some changes maybe in our muscle mass or joint mobility or how quickly we recover after a workout. It's natural. But here's the thing. Without a little effort, without strength training, mobility work, and flexibility exercises, our bodies tend to, decline faster. It can lead to stiffness, chronic pain, even a slower metabolism. But don't worry, it's not a one-way street to decline. Dr. Gupta emphasizes that with the right approach, we can actually build strength, prevent injuries, and maintain amazing mobility well into our later years. He really believes that fitness after 40 is non-negotiable, and after reading this chapter, I'm totally on board. So how do we create this midlife fitness plan that's going to help us thrive? Dr. Gupta breaks it down to 4 key steps. The first step is all about assessment. Before we jump into any workout plan, it's crucial to understand where our bodies are at right now.
He suggests a little self-assessment. Think about your strength, mobility, balance, and flexibility. Are there any past injuries or genetic risks that might be relevant? For example, can you do a few push-ups, squats, or deadlifts with good form? Can you touch your toes, squat down deeply, or rotate your shoulders freely? How about your balance? Can you stand on one leg for 30 seconds? Do you feel any tightness in your hamstrings, hips, or shoulders? By answering these questions, we can pinpoint our specific needs and create a fitness plan that's tailored for us, not just a generic one-size-fits-all approach. Once we have a clear understanding of our starting point, we can move on to step 2, which is all about building that strength foundation. Dr. Gupta is a huge advocate of strength training, not just for building muscle, but for building bone density too. This becomes even more important as we age because we naturally start to lose muscle mass, about 3% to 5% per decade, unless we actively work to maintain it. And guess what the most effective way to do that is? You got to strength training. He recommends starting with those compound movements we talked about earlier, squats, deadlifts, push-ups, and lunges. These work multiple muscle groups simultaneously, giving you a bigger impact in each workout. And as you get stronger, you can gradually increase the weight or resistance. Remember that concept of progressive overload. It keeps your muscles challenged and helps them grow stronger. He also stresses the importance of focusing on core strength and stability work. Those are essential for preventing back pain and improving balance. And of course, we can't forget about rest and recovery. Overtraining can actually do more harm than good, so make sure you're building in rest days and giving your body the time it needs to repair and rebuild. Aim for at least one rest day between workouts. And, as always, nutrition plays a huge role here. Dr. Gupta reminds us to fuel our bodies with nutrient-rich meals after workouts, and make sure we're getting enough protein to support muscle growth and repair. He even shares this inspiring story of David, a 48-year-old lawyer who had lost a significant amount of muscle mass over the years. He was feeling the effects, less energy, a bit of back pain, and just not as strong as he used to be. But by incorporating 3 days of resistance training into his routine, along with a little protein supplementation and some active mobility work, he was able to completely turn things around. He regained his strength, got rid of that nagging back pain, and even improved his posture. It's an amazing example of how strength training can truly transform our bodies and our overall well-being. Now that we've built that solid strength foundation, it's time for step 3. Focusing on mobility and flexibility. As we age, our cartilage and connective tissue, those important tissues that keep our joints moving smoothly, tend to lose some elasticity. That's why we might start to feel a bit stiffer and more restricted in our movements. But we can combat this. Dr. Gupta suggests starting with a daily mobility routine, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Simple exercises like shoulder rotations, hip openers, cat-cow stretches, and ankle mobility drills can make a world of difference. He's also a big fan of foam rolling and myofascial release, those techniques that help break up those tight spots in our muscles, improve circulation, and relieve muscle knots. And when it comes to stretching, he recommends a mix of dynamic stretching before workouts to prepare your muscles for movement, and static stretching afterward to help them relax and increase flexibility. He also suggests adding joint strengthening exercises using resistance bands or controlled movements to keep those joints healthy and stable. To show just how impactful these mobility and flexibility practices can be, Dr. Gupta introduces us to Lisa, a 52-year-old woman who is struggling with chronic knee pain. The pain was so bad that it prevented her from exercising and enjoying her favorite activities. But after incorporating low-impact strength work, joint-friendly mobility exercises, and targeted flexibility drills, she was able to regain full function in her knee and even get back to hiking, all without pain. It's proof that it's never too late to improve our mobility and flexibility and start moving with more ease and freedom. All right, we've got strength, mobility, and flexibility covered. Now let's move on to step 4, which is all about recovery and preventing injuries. Dr. Gupta really emphasizes that recovery is just as important as a workout itself. Our bodies need time to repair and rebuild after we've pushed them. And if we don't prioritize recovery, we're setting ourselves up for burnout and potential injuries. He starts by reminding us about the importance of sleep. Remember how crucial sleep is for everything from hormone balance to muscle repair. Well, it's also crucial for recovery. He explains that growth hormone, which plays a key role in muscle recovery and repair, is primarily released during deep sleep. So if we're not getting enough quality sleep, we're essentially shortchanging our body's ability to recover and rebuild. He also stresses the importance of hydration. Drinking plenty of water throughout the day helps to lubricate our joints, flush out toxins, and keep our tissues healthy. It's the foundation of recovery. Dr. Gupta also recommends incorporating cold therapy and heat therapy into our recovery routines. Think ice baths to reduce inflammation after a tough workout, or heat therapy to ease muscle tension and promote relaxation. And maybe most importantly, he encourages us to listen to our bodies. While it's normal to feel some discomfort during exercise, sharp pain is a warning sign that we need to back off or modify our movements. Pushing through pain can lead to injuries, so pay attention to what your body is telling you. And as always, we need to consider our genetic predispositions. If we have a family history of arthritis or osteoporosis, for example, we'll want to focus on joint-friendly exercises and make modifications as needed to protect those vulnerable areas. To illustrate just how important recovery is, Dr. Gupta shares the case study of Mark, a 50-year-old competitive cyclist who was starting to experience chronic joint pain. He loved cycling, but was worried that he would have to give it up due to the pain. By integrating sauna therapy, collagen supplementation, and active recovery days into his routine, he was able to sustain his peak endurance without further injury. It's a fantastic example of how prioritizing recovery allows us to stay active and injury-free for the long haul. Let's quickly recap Dr. Gupta's midlife fitness blueprint. Step 1, assess your current fitness and mobility levels. Step 2, build muscle and bone density through strength training. Step 3, unlock pain-free movement with mobility and flexibility work. And Step 4, prioritize recovery and injury prevention. He makes it clear that strength training is non-negotiable for long-term health, while mobility and flexibility work keep us moving freely and prevent injuries. And remember, your fitness plan should always be tailored to your lifestyle, your age, and any genetic predispositions you might have. By integrating strength, mobility, flexibility, and recovery strategies into our lives, we can ensure that midlife isn't a time of decline, but a time of reaching our full potential. It's about creating a body that's strong, resilient, and ready for anything. Feeling inspired to get moving. I know I am. But before we hit the gym, let's talk about another pillar of peak performance, sleep. Okay, so let's switch gears now and talk about keeping our minds sharp, adaptable throughout our lives. Dr. Gupta really dives into this in U 2.0, exploring what he calls cognitive longevity. I think a lot of us have this fear, especially as we age, about cognitive decline. You hear those stories, memory loss, brain fog, difficulty concentrating. But good news. Dr. Gupta makes it clear that cognitive decline, it's not inevitable. He introduces this idea of neuroplasticity, basically the brain's ability to rewire itself. It responds to learning and new experiences. Our brains aren't static. They're constantly changing, adapting, even as we get older. And the more mentally active we are, the more resilient our brains become to those age-related changes. He also talks about cognitive reserve. It's like our brain's built-in buffer, the ability to cope with damage, with challenges, more cognitive reserve. Well, our brains are better equipped to handle whatever comes our way and maintain healthy function. It's not all sunshine and roses, though. Dr. Gupta gets real about those factors that can speed up cognitive decline. He talks about how chronic stress, a poor diet, lack of sleep, all contribute to inflammation in the brain. And that can impact our cognitive function. So addressing those lifestyle factors, it's crucial if we want to protect our brain health. He also reminds us genetics play a role. Family history of dementia or Alzheimer's. It's even more important to be proactive about those brain-healthy habits. And then there's the gut-brain connection. Did you know the bacteria in our gut can actually influence neurotransmitter production? This affects our mood, cognition, even memory retention. So, taking care of gut health, yet another way to support cognitive longevity. To illustrate this, Dr. Gupta shares Mark's story, a 50-year-old consultant experiencing brain fog, forgetfulness, difficulty concentrating. He was worried his mental sharpness was slipping, impacting his work. But a few key changes, and he turned things around completely. He started with a cognitive-boosting diet, lots of omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, those brain-healthy nutrients. He also started taking nootropics. Those are supplements designed to enhance cognitive function, but he did his research, consulted with his doctor first. He prioritized sleep and found healthy ways to manage his stress. And the results, incredible. Mental clarity returned, focus sharpened, felt like himself again. So how do we keep our minds firing on all cylinders? Dr. Gupta gives us a 4-step plan for cognitive longevity. First up, cognitive workouts. Just like our bodies need physical exercise, our brains need mental stimulation to stay sharp. Dr. Gupta recommends embracing lifelong learning. Maybe pick up a new hobby, learn a new language, take a course on something that interests you. The key is to challenge your brain. New, complex activities that make you think critically, expand your knowledge base. He's also a huge advocate of reading and what he calls deep work. Reading challenging books can improve vocabulary, comprehension, critical thinking skills, and deep work, that focused, uninterrupted time where you can really immerse yourself in a task. It can strengthen your cognitive endurance, attention span. It's like building mental muscle. He even suggests incorporating memory training techniques, things like the memory palace technique, spaced repetition, and chunking. They can all help improve recall, processing speed, and don't forget about creativity. Creative thinking, storytelling, brainstorming. These activities enhance mental flexibility, problem-solving skills, overall cognitive agility. To bring this to life, Dr. Gupta shares Lisa's example, a 55-year-old woman transitioning out of corporate life. She was determined to keep her mind engaged, decided to learn a new language, take up piano lessons, both of which have been shown to boost cognitive function. By challenging herself with these new, stimulating activities, she stayed mentally sharp, prevented decline. Second step in Dr. Gupta's plan is all about nutrition and supplements for brain health. He explains certain nutrients play a starring role in supporting brain function, protecting against decline. At the top of the list, omega-3 fatty acids, found in fatty fish like salmon, walnuts, flax seeds. They're essential for brain cell structure and function, linked to reduced inflammation and improved cognitive performance. He also talks about the importance of polyphenols, antioxidants, found in colorful fruits and vegetables, dark chocolate, green tea, powerful compounds that protect brain cells from oxidative stress and damage. Then there's choline and healthy fats. Choline, it's a precursor to acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that's key for memory and learning. Good sources include egg yolks, beef liver, soybeans, and healthy fats like those found in avocados, olive oil, nuts. They support brain cell structure and function. Dr. Gupta also mentions nootropics, those supplements specifically designed to enhance cognitive function. Some popular ones include lion's mane mushroom, rhodiola rosea, and alpha-GPC. But remember, it's always a good idea to do your research, consult a healthcare professional before starting any new supplement. And just as important as what we add to our diets is what we limit. Dr. Gupta recommends avoiding processed sugar, trans fats, and excessive alcohol. All of those can negatively impact brain health. And don't underestimate the power of hydration. Even mild dehydration can impair cognitive function. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water throughout the day, maintaining electrolyte balance. The third step in Dr. Gupta's plan focuses on managing stress and building cognitive resilience. He explains that chronic stress, it can wreak havoc on the brain, leads to inflammation, cognitive decline, even structural changes. So it's essential to incorporate stress management techniques into your routine. He recommends mindfulness, meditation, which have been shown to strengthen prefrontal cortex function, improve emotional regulation, enhance focus. He also suggests breathwork techniques like box breathing and cyclic sighing. These can help reduce stress-induced brain fog, calm your nervous system. Gratitude journaling, nature therapy, and movement are also powerful tools for building cognitive resilience. Spending time outdoors, engaging in physical activity, expressing gratitude. These have all been shown to enhance mental resilience, reduce stress, and boost creativity. And finally, be mindful of your digital consumption. Too much screen time, it can weaken focus, increase stress levels, negatively impact sleep, which, as we already discussed, is essential for brain health. So try incorporating digital detoxes, set boundaries around your technology use, protect your cognitive health. The fourth and final step in Dr. Gupta's plan, something we've touched on already, regular exercise. Not just good for our bodies, it's a powerful brain booster too. Aerobic exercise like brisk walking, cycling, swimming, it improves blood flow to the brain, increases oxygenation, enhances cognitive function. Strength training is also important, stimulates the release of growth factors that promote new neuron formation, overall brain health. Dr. Gupta also recommends incorporating balance and coordination drills like yoga, tai chi, or dance. These can strengthen neuromuscular connections, reduce fall risk, even prevent cognitive decline. And remember to break up long periods of sitting by, moving regularly throughout the day. Even short bursts of activity can help prevent that afternoon slump, improve blood flow, boost energy levels. Let's recap Dr. Gupta's 4-step plan for cognitive longevity. Step 1, engage in cognitive workouts. Challenge your brain, keep learning, stimulate those neural pathways. Step 2, prioritize nutrition and supplementation. Feed your brain with the high-quality nutrients it needs to thrive. Step 3, manage stress and build cognitive resilience. Protect your brain from the damaging effects of chronic stress. Strengthen its ability to bounce back from challenges. And step 4, engage in regular exercise. Get that blood flowing. Oxygenate the brain. Promote overall brain health. By putting these strategies into action, we can keep our minds sharp, adaptable, engaged throughout our lives. Proving aging doesn't have to mean cognitive decline. And remember, as Dr. Gupta emphasizes, it's never too late to start. Our brains are amazingly adaptable, and even small changes can make a big difference. So commit to lifelong learning. Challenge your brain. Nourish your mind. Manage your stress. And move your body. You'll be amazed at what your brain can do. That brings us to the end of our deep dive into You 2.0, Health, Longevity, and Peak Performance by Dr. Abhay Gupta. I hope this journey through the book has been as insightful and inspiring for you as it has been for me. If you're ready to rewrite the rules of aging and embrace your prime, this book is your roadmap. It's packed with data-driven strategies, practical tips, real-world examples, things you can start doing today. Remember, midlife isn't a decline. It's an opportunity to unlock your full potential, optimize your health, create a future filled with vitality, purpose, and peak performance. So go out there, embrace those strategies, and create the vibrant, fulfilling life you deserve. Your best years are yet to come.